On Wednesday, November 20, 2024, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva hosted Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Palácio da Alvorada in Brasília. This meeting followed Xi Jinping's attendance at the G20 Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro. The two leaders discussed strengthening bilateral relations and addressed regional and multilateral issues, emphasizing alignment between their nations' development strategies. Security measures. The visit involved a robust security plan, coordinated by the federal police, PF, military forces, and intelligence agencies. Measures included social media monitoring, increased police presence at 7 strategic points in the capital, a maritime blockade of Lake Paranoá, and vigilance against potentially hostile actions, such as the use of protest inflatables. The Chinese delegation traveled with approximately 25 vehicles. Brazil-China relations. China, Brazil's largest trading partner, facilitated $160 billion in bilateral trade in 2023. Xi Jinping expressed interest in enhancing strategic and commercial cooperation, focusing on aligning the development policies of the two countries. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, known as Lula, is the current president of Brazil, having assumed office for his third term in January 2023. Born on October 27, 1945, in Quito, Pernambuco, Lula grew up in poverty and began working at a young age. He later became a metalworker and union leader, gaining prominence during strikes in the 1970s against Brazil's military dictatorship. In 1980, Lula co-founded the Workers' Party, PT, and entered politics. He served as president of Brazil from 2003 to 2010, focusing on social welfare programs like Bolsa Familia, which helped lift millions out of poverty. His tenure also saw economic growth and Brazil's increased prominence on the global stage. After his presidency, Lula faced legal controversies and was imprisoned in 2018 on corruption charges, which were annulled in 2021, clearing his path for re-election. Lula's current presidency emphasizes social justice, environmental sustainability, and international diplomacy, including efforts to position Brazil as a leader in global climate discussions. Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping is the current president of the People's Republic of China, serving since 2013. Born on June 15, 1953, in Beijing, Xi comes from a politically influential family. His father, Xi Jinping, was a prominent revolutionary leader. Xi Jinping's early life was shaped by the Cultural Revolution, during which his family faced persecution, and he was sent to work in a rural village during the Down to the Countryside movement. He later studied chemical engineering at Tsinghua University and gradually rose through the ranks of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Before becoming president, Xi held key roles, including governor of Fujian and Zhejiang provinces and vice president of China. Xi is also the general secretary of the CCP and the chairman of the Central Military Commission, consolidating his status as China's paramount leader. His tenure is marked by major domestic reforms, assertive foreign policy, and initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative. In 2018, China's constitutional term limits for the presidency were removed, allowing Xi to potentially remain in power indefinitely. Geopolitical similarities between Brazil and China. Brazil and China share several geopolitical similarities, particularly as emerging powers within the Global South and members of influential international organizations like BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These two nations are key players in shaping the multipolar world order, emphasizing cooperation on global issues such as trade, climate change, and development. Population. Both Brazil and China are among the world's most populous countries. China is the most populous nation, with over 1.4 billion people, while Brazil, the most populous country in South America, has approximately 216 million people, 2024 estimates. These large populations provide significant domestic markets that drive economic growth and attract foreign investment. Economy. China, as the world's second-largest economy, China has a GDP of over $18 trillion, fueled by manufacturing, exports, and technology development. Its Belt and Road Initiative seeks to expand its global influence through infrastructure investments. Brazil has the largest economy in Latin America, with a GDP of around $2 trillion, driven by agriculture, mining, and energy. It is a leading exporter of soybeans, iron ore, and meat, which are major components of its trade with China. Shared development goals. Both nations prioritize reducing inequality and fostering sustainable development. Brazil and China have collaborated on technology transfer, infrastructure projects, and agricultural innovations to enhance mutual growth. Global governance. As major voices from the Global South, Brazil and China advocate for reforms in international institutions like the United Nations and the World Trade Organization to reflect the interests of developing nations. Both countries emphasize multilateralism and reject hegemonic approaches in global politics. These similarities underpin their strong bilateral ties, with China being Brazil's largest trading partner, and contribute to their influential roles in reshaping the global economic and political landscape. This quote emphasizes the transformative power of dialogue, presenting it as a universal tool that anyone can use to foster understanding and promote peace. By choosing dialogue over confrontation, individuals and communities can actively shift from cultures rooted in violence and conflict to those that prioritize harmony and mutual respect. It highlights the accessibility and inclusivity of dialogue as a means for meaningful change, applicable at any time or by anyone, regardless of their background or situation.